I'd like to start off by showing you 4 photos. Okay, here's the first one, second, third, and fourth. And my question for you guys is, what do these 4 people have in common? Anyone? Yes. My guess is that you'll probably say they don't have much in common. They all come from different ethnicities, races, religion, and backgrounds. But the fact is that these 4 people have everything in common. And the biggest lesson I've learned from visiting 161 countries is that all humans are the same. My name is Binsky. I am 27 years old. I come from a place called Scottsdale, Arizona, in the western part of the US. My full-time job is making daily travel videos on both Facebook and YouTube, and I have a goal, which is to visit every country in the world, which I am getting closer and closer to finishing. The countries you see here in the orange are the countries I have visited since 2012. The countries with a black dot are the ones that I have been to more than once, which is about 50 countries. And the ones with a pin on it are countries that I have lived in or spent at least 3 months. So a lot of time in Asia. I've been in Asia since 2013. I love it here so much. Currently living in Thailand. So growing up, I've always been an outgoing guy, very adventurous, love to play sports. I'm a people person, an extrovert, and that's been me since I was just a little boy. Love playing all kinds of sports and stuff like that. When I turned 8 years old, my parents got me a globe for my birthday, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And every night I would spin the globe and memorize all the countries and capitals, and I dreamed of visiting the whole world from a young age. When it was time to go to college, I wanted to get out of Arizona because all my friends were going to University of Arizona, and I just wanted a change. So I applied to University of Wisconsin, I got accepted, I packed my bags, and I moved 2,000 miles across the country by myself, from the hottest state to the coldest state. I showed up in Madison, Wisconsin, without even owning a winter jacket. This is me right after a snowstorm, right when I arrived in college. Didn't even know what I was doing. And I left after the best 4 years of my entire life. During my junior year in college, I studied abroad in Prague, the Czech Republic. Why? Because I saw it as a great opportunity to study and travel at the same time. And I chose Prague because it's centrally located right in the heart of Europe, and I figured I could jump on a bus or a train and just go around the continent, which is exactly what I did. As a 20-year-old, I went all over Europe, and it's really when my eyes and ears were opened up to new cultures and new sights and new smells. It was incredible. Here are some of my favorite trips. I was in Italy, Bosnia, Amsterdam, Holland, and Berlin, Germany. And once again, I was 20 years old, and all of these things were so new to me, and it was incredible during that semester. When the semester was ending, I found myself backpacking around Europe, and then I went to the Middle East, and I was in Dubai, standing right here where I took this picture in front of the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. And later that evening, it was May 22nd, 2012, I had my aha moment where a light bulb went off in my head, and I realized that I wanted to make a living from traveling the world. And I was going to do anything I could to build a career around my lifestyle and not my lifestyle around my career. So I went back to Wisconsin, and I graduated with a double major in economics and entrepreneurship in the spring of 2013. And what did I do after that? As a fresh college grad, I didn't want to go to the corporate world. I wanted to neglect that. I wanted to find a way to travel, as I said. So I didn't take that path. I took that leap of faith, and I ended up in a beautiful country, which I think some of you guys have been to. It is South Korea. Why did I end up in South Korea? Well, my friend in college told me about a teaching English program in Korea, and I said, wow, that sounds great. I don't know anything about Asia. I've never been. I applied, got accepted, packed my bags, and moved across the Pacific Ocean. Once again, I didn't know anybody. I just showed up in Korea, and I had an incredible time. From day one, I wanted to immerse myself in Korean culture. So I was living in a village like 30 kilometers south of Seoul, and there were no other foreigners. So I trained to be a black belt in Taekwondo, which I forgot most of my skills now, but at the time I was really good. I became semi-fluent in the Korean language, and I really learned how to speak it. And has anyone been to Seoul? Can you raise your hand? Or Korea? Korea. Okay, so maybe 15 people. So you guys will know how energetic it is there, and it's not contagious. When you go there, it's incredible. It's so much fun. The streets are so vivid. To this day, Korea remains one of my favorite countries in the world. Most importantly, when I was in Korea, I started a travel blog called The Hungry Partier, which is funny because I was partying a lot when I was 20 and 21. I don't really party anymore because I have other responsibilities. But I started this travel blog as a way to document my travels around the world. And if it wasn't for all the hard work I put on this original blog, then I wouldn't be standing on this stage today. And just in case you're wondering, this blog doesn't exist anymore. It's just my name, Drew Binsky, which is my brand. But I spent a lot of time on that blog. And when I left Korea, I was at a point where I was getting some sponsors through my blog, like free hotels, free airlines, stuff like that. And so I traveled, and my costs were low because I had some sponsors. And I found myself sitting in this chair in Jaisalmer, India, in the northwestern part of India. And I discovered the potential of Snapchat. I'm sure you guys have heard of Snapchat. It was really popular like 4 or 5 years ago, even 2 years ago. And I realized that I could grow a following on Snapchat. And so basically, my travel blogging like pivoted into making content on Snapchat. And I got a head start before a lot of creators and a lot of brands were on Snapchat. So basically, for like a year and a half of my life, I was a Snapchatter, which is so funny to say that word now because it almost like is extinct because Instagram stories took over Snapchat, but that's a whole nother story. So I was traveling around the world, Snapchatting. I even got invited to go to the Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, 2016, and just make content on Snapchat. I was sponsored by them. It was really, really special. It was almost like a dream life. And that was until 2 years ago, this month, 2 years ago, when my lovely girlfriend, Deanna, say hi, Deanna, she's sitting in the front, she surprised me and bought me a nice camera. And I said, why? I don't want to have a nice camera. I'm kind of a minimalist. I just travel with a small backpack. And she said, I want you to make content that lasts longer than 24 hours, because Snapchat, it deletes after 24 hours. I said, okay, sure. So I started making videos and putting them on Facebook. I went to North Korea for 4 days soon after that, and I made a video which has like 15 million views in North Korea. And it was at that point where I was like, okay, I'm going to focus all on video, forget blogging, forget Snapchat, video. So I'm proud to say that until now, as I stand on this stage, I have 3.3 million followers across social media and about 800 million overall video views between Facebook and YouTube. Thank you guys so much. You're an awesome crowd. So the question is now, why do I travel? Some people travel for food. Others travel for nightlife, for nature, hiking. Maybe you're a bird watcher, coffee drinker. But for me, it's always been about one thing and one thing only, and that is the people. Going to places that are far away from home and connecting with how people live their lives. I love Africa. It's an amazing continent, and here are some of my favorite moments, just finding out how people live their lives. Why do they pray? What do they eat? Why do they put red paint on their face? How do they dance? How do they interact with each other? All these things became fascinating to me, and it just became my mission to connect with locals around the world and make videos to show all of you guys, you amazing people out there. What I've come to realize is that we all have the same wants and needs. Every person, me, you, all 150 of you in this room, we all have red blood. We were all born into planet Earth. And we really, when you look at it in that context, you just realize, you see through race, you see through skin color, we are all the exact same people. When we're hungry, we need to eat. When we're tired, we need to sleep. When we're sad, we cry. All of us want to love and be loved in return. When something is funny, we laugh. And of course, we all need to make money or a substitute of money to survive, to keep a roof over our heads. And 99% of people in this planet that I've met, and that's hundreds of thousands of people at this point, are good people. They're warm, friendly, hospitable. They want to show you their culture. They're proud of their culture. They want to invite you in their house for a cup of tea. All of these things I experience all over the world, just like these amazing guys I met in front of the Taj Mahal in Agra, India. Unfortunately, when you turn on the TV, and everybody does it, you go on the news, and you see the bad stuff. You hear about rape, murder, crime, terrorist attacks. These things instill fear inside of us. Anytime you turn on the TV, it's really a bad thing because it's focusing on the 0.1% of people in the world. But really, 99.9% of people are doing great things, like everybody in this room. And I can tell you guys from firsthand experience that the world is safe. Of course, things happen. There are good people, there are bad people everywhere. But not once have I been mugged, robbed, I've been scammed a couple euros here and there in Europe, but every traveler goes through that. But no serious things have happened to me, and I've been in some of the most dangerous countries. Right after this, I'm going to Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iraq. And if I told that to some people, especially Americans, they would be freaking out. But I'm really excited for that trip. So next, I want to share with you guys tonight's video. As I told you, I post every day. I've never showed this to anyone yet. This is kind of like a premiere of the video. It's going to go live at 11 p.m. Malaysia time. So enjoy. The more I travel, the more I realize that 99.9% of humans are good people. They are humble, friendly, and hospitable. It might not appear that way when you turn on your TV, but when you're constantly meeting eye to eye with people from every corner of the world, it's just the honest truth. What's your name? Drew, man. We just picked him up and he's gonna help us find the place where we're going. I've come to realize that all 7.6 billion humans, from Somalia to Samoa to Spain, have the same wants and needs: to eat, to sleep, to laugh, to love, and to work. Countless times, when I've been completely lost in a foreign country, someone has offered their hand and even a bed to sleep in. It doesn't matter if we cannot communicate. It doesn't matter that I'm American and Jewish and have red hair. Nobody cares about these things. All it takes is a simple smile, and everyone can smile in the same language. Hello! Hello! The world is a very safe place, and it pains me to think that the media has instilled fear in our minds. This is what motivates me to keep making travel videos, so I can show you the happy and positive sides of the world. Of course, I am not blind to the fact that terrorist attacks happen and that people get murdered. Every country has good people and bad people, but remember that it's the 0.1% who are the bad guys. You are 5 times more likely to get struck by lightning than be a victim of one terrorist attack. So please, I urge you not to let the media scare you away from seeing the world's most beautiful sights, meeting the most welcoming people, and learning about places that you never knew existed. I can guarantee you that life is much better this way. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'd like to end with a couple of specific stories of people that I've met and who've inspired me around the world. So first, I'm going to take you to the amazing African country of Namibia. It's my favorite country on the continent. I was there about 8 months ago. I was doing a 10-day road trip all around. And the country of Namibia is fascinating. It's mostly covered in desert. You have these amazing dunes. This looks like a photo like on a wallpaper of your computer, right? But I took this on my drone, and a lot of the country looks like this. And I heard about these indigenous tribe called the Himba tribe, and I love meeting people and seeing their normal way of life. And so we were on a bus, and I told the driver, hey, can you just pull over? I want to go meet the Himba tribe, because I actually saw them in the distance. So he did, and I got out of the car, and I walked up to the Himba, to these people, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And I'm going to show you a photo, which is really, it's shocking, because look at it for a second. So we have nothing in common from the outside, right? I'm wearing clothes. I'm actually wearing the same shirt. They're not wearing traditional clothes. They have black skin. I have white skin. I have red hair. They have this red paint in their hair. And we spent 4 hours together and had an incredible time. They taught me their traditional dance moves. They put the red clay on my face, which protects them from the sun. And we had an incredible time. They actually loved me so much that when I had to leave, they invited me to sleep in their little huts, and I had to respectfully decline, which I regret. I should have slept there a couple nights and see how they do that. But it was wonderful. So next, I will take you to the country of Oman. It is in the Middle East. Middle East is one of my favorite regions in the world for many reasons. I was also walking in the desert. It's called the Wahiba Desert. It's a beautiful place in Oman. And where I took this photo, there is no civilization within like 100 kilometers of where I'm standing. And I was just walking around, you know, enjoying the beautiful day. And all of a sudden, I come across this man, and he's sitting in a chair. I was like, what are you doing here, man? What's going on? And in the little English he spoke, he said, hey, come here. Took me into his little house, which was made of like rugs. It was like really small, like half the size of this stage. And he said, sit down. You know, where are you from? And I said, Arizona. And we were talking for a while. And then I said, why do you live here? And he said, I just love nature. And he said it gets 50 degrees Celsius in the summer where he lives, and he has no AC. And he lives with his family. He has 3 daughters. I could not believe that this guy just chose to live there in complete isolation. But hey, he was a really cool guy, and he impacted me a lot. and I always think about him. And next, I will take you to the country of Iran, which is one of my top 3 favorite countries in the world for so many reasons. I think it's a very misconceived nation. A lot of people have the wrong thoughts about Iran. But I went there for 15 days with Deanna last year, and there's so many historical sites. It's like the cradle of civilization. Here's one of the many UNESCO World Heritage sites. It looks like a bunch of sandcastles. But mostly in Iran, what I love so much is the people. And more than any other country, I've been invited into so many homes. I've been given a cup of tea, just anywhere. People are so happy to meet you, and they all speak English, and they don't speak English, sorry, they're excited to meet Americans. They're really excited to meet Americans, which is not what you'd think when you turn on the TV in the US. Here are some of the amazing Persian people that we've met on our trip that we still keep in touch with to this day. Amin and Reina, amazing friends. And lastly, I will take you to the country of Tonga, which I was there a week ago. I showed up in the capital city called Nuka Alufa on a Sunday, and it was completely dead. The street, I was like, what's happening? Was there a terrorist attack? Was there a natural disaster? And I found out that the country is closed on Sunday, completely closed because of religious reasons. They're very Catholic, and they go to church, and they pray, and it's actually illegal to work. If you're caught working on the street, you can go to jail. Yeah, so anyways, I met this guy named Mustafa, and I said, where can I eat, man? And he said, hey, there's no restaurants open, but my mom can cook you an amazing meal. And I said, sure. So she pulled up in a truck, she gave us this incredible food, and we really bonded, and he's a really cool guy. I still talk to him, and he doesn't know he's in this presentation. I'll have to tell him after this. So growing up in the US as a naive American, my worldviews revolved around race, religion, and ethnicity. Especially growing up Jewish, I had a bad impression of Muslims. That's what I was told. I was told they are bad people when I was a young boy, until I traveled to countries like Kuwait, and countries like Mali, and countries like Malaysia, and I realized that Muslims are some of the most warm, friendly, and hospitable people. Especially Malaysia. It's such a diverse crowd. You guys coexist beautifully, and I just love the people here. You guys are amazing, and I'm so honored to do a TED Talk in this country. So, really quickly, I would like to end my speech on one thought that you guys can take home. What does race, religion, and ethnicity mean to you? Thank you.